So, what are we? This is a critical question, and it comes up again and again when I travel around the world. Are we social enterprise? Are we doing CSR as Christians, or is it something else? Christians, this is what we limit ourselves to, or do we also, we're not against social enterprise, we're for it. We're for doing CSR. But do we also have a mission to glorify God and to make Jesus known? And in the global BAM movement, of course, we say, yes, it is about CSR plus. It's something more. It is the 4 bottom lines. Because we are about holistic transformation, believing that God can transform, bring about good and lasting change. Economically, socially, environmentally, spiritually. On people, on businesses, on communities, on societies. But when we talk about holistic transformation, we know it takes time. Business as mission is not instant coffee. You don't just stir a little bit of BAM into your business and whoo, voila, that's it. So, since it takes time, it's interesting to learn from history. What transformation has taken place over generations, and what were key factors towards that transformation? There was a guy, his name is Robert Woodbury. I met him last year. And he and his 50 research assistants asked a question about, and they spent 14 years doing this research project, by the way. And they looked at Christian mission on many continents over generations, and what was the long-term impact. Did the missionaries have any good impact? And if so, what was the impact? And what kind of missionaries? Did they just contribute to some good impact, or were they essential to transformational impact? So there were quite a few people spending quite a few years doing this research. What were some of their observations and conclusions? They saw a definite correlation, but they were so surprised at first, so they checked it again and again and again. Can this really be right? They saw there was a correlation, a cause and effect correlation between Jesus-centered, this is their term, conversionary missionaries, and democratic development, better health, lower corruption, greater literacy, higher educational attainment, and stronger civil society, and so forth. This is holistic transformation. So they checked different kinds of missionaries coming out with different kinds of agendas and with different kinds of institutions, and they saw the definite correlation were between those missionaries who had Jesus at the forefront. They were Jesus-centered. They believed in the importance that people got to know Jesus. They were unashamedly followers of Jesus and felt we want to invite others to also follow Jesus. Christians who were just more into doing aid, doing good things, playing down, maybe the Jesus factor, or were with big power institutions, whether colonial powers or church powers, had less impact. Now, we all want to have dinner, so you don't want to know all the details. But these are interesting findings. So what are the implications? Some implications for us as we're doing BAM. Well, some like the term business as mission, some hate it with a passion, and that's fine. Some like transformational business, great. But there is a conversation going on around the world, and right now we're having it in Europe again as well. Europeans are slow, I'm one of them. It's like, why should we really talk about Jesus? Shouldn't we just be Christians doing good business? Now, there isn't one size fits all. We're all going to do exactly the same. There's going to be different foci as we do business as mission. Our profile will differ, but so we need to not be judgmental of people using different kinds of language, terminology, or different approaches, or have different high profiles. But it is important, nevertheless, also to be tactful and mindful of culture and security-related issues. We can hear about in some countries, the BAM companies, they have Bible studies in prayer at the company. If you did that in Sweden, you would commit a crime. It's illegal. All right, so it works different in different settings. So let's be mindful of both culture and security and regulations as we are doing this. But at the same time, we should learn from those who have gone before. Jesus-centered missionaries were instrumental in bringing about holistic transformation. So that ought to be a lesson to us as Jesus-centered BAMers can be instrumental in bringing about holistic transformation. So, a conclusion. Dinner is waiting. We mustn't be business without a mission. We mustn't do business without the kingdom of God mission. And remember that Jesus is the king of that kingdom. So that seems to be something we can learn even from this study. So the project was 14 years long. I'm spending less than 14 minutes to describe this, but I guess the team wanted me to speak about this because they had read about it on my website. So if you go to my website, you can read more about this, and you can also click further to get to the whole research project and learn more. Thank you.